Welcome back to day two. Today's opponent, I'm not entirely sure how his name is supposed to be pronounced, but I've just been referring to him as Hugh. But we're going to go ahead and start off with a collection match. You can see this one has 9 resources. So the match point is the 5th resource captured. So let's see how this shakes out. And you can see again, my bots are making a mad dash to the central resource. His bots, however, are just kind of giving me control of the central area. His one shotgun showed up, but the rest of his team is off doing other things. I think he's trying to capture as many points as possible as quickly as possible. And so he's going to snag 2, but I snag 2 from the center. So it's going to be an even match so far, but who has the advantage is kind of questionable. I don't know that I like that my shotgun is walking toward this base in particular. I'm going to have to take a look at that and see if I can fix that. But we're 1-1. We're about to be 2-2. And there it is. Yep, and this shotgun's about to be dead, I'm pretty sure. But we traded kills, and I'm trying to carry a 3rd resource, but his sniper here is actually going to be a bit of a problem for any approaching assault. The snipers do enough damage to the assaults that it's going to trigger my retreat mechanism every time it shoots. And you can see it's kind of casually pushing my assault back. It might actually be better for me to just fire at him. I have made some changes since this version that should alleviate this problem a bit. But with the shotgun moving in and the assault providing covering fire, that resource is as good as secure. And you can see his machine gun here in the middle is being an obstacle, but it's having a hard time making any headway because of pure numbers. It looks like that resource wasn't quite as good as captured, but come on. Alright, but yeah, the shotgun's gonna get it. There's no way he's gonna be able to stop that. And that puts me at 3-2. But he's got 2 resources very close to his base here. Those could both be captured very quickly. And I think that might be what we're about to see. You can see one of my bots moving in to grab this resource from him. But getting too close to the enemy and choosing to fight, which I generally think is a good decision, even if there are niche cases where it would be a good idea to just grab the resource and run. But you can see my bots are kind of in this little sandwich cluster here. I don't think that's great for my bots. They don't really prioritize, like they prioritize combat, but they don't execute it very well. It's still a very early version of combat AI. But I am going to cap this one up here, it looks like. I don't think he's going to even get close to stopping that, and that's going to tie it up to 4-4. However, the only bot I have left alive is my sniper. Okay. So my other bots are now rallying. You can see all the resources have been claimed. So my bots are moving toward his resource carrier. If this resource carrier gets to this base, that's game. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen for him. And now my bots are moving in to try and move that resource. This is a very close fight, but his bots are all really low on health. That's going to give me a numerical advantage here very quickly. And this assault's trying to make its way, but you see his shotgun was trying to move in on the resource carrier assault. I think he's going to be able to make my... Yeah, he managed to get my assault to drop the resource. And the squeaking in the background, somebody got a new toy yesterday and he's been absolutely loving it. So you'll have to forgive that. Oh man, why was he doing that? There is some things going on with this resource. See, the shotgun is carrying it up toward the top. If it carried it toward the bottom, it would have been fine. But we'll have to refine that a bit, because that would have been ideal, would have been to carry it away from the enemy. But the shotgun is moving the resource, but time is ticking down. There's only 31 seconds left on the clock. If the time runs out, it'll be a draw, and there'll be a rematch. And I'm hoping to avoid that, because I don't really Hugh, when I was learning to play the game, Hugh had a tendency to just beat the ever-loving crap out of all of my bots, and I don't really want a rematch. I want a nice win, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get my win this round. So this is going to go to a tie. There'll be a tiebreaker collection game following it up, but let me get that loaded and I'll see you there. This is the tiebreaker round between Hugh and I. You can see it's still 9 resources, but the base layout and the resource layout is very different, which will undoubtedly affect quite a few things. My rush to center strategy did work early on, and it did secure some of the middle resources, but I had a hard time cleaning up the resources on my side. With the position of the bases and the resources on my side, I think this will be a lot better for me. This kind of favors my grab and dash strategy a lot more. And you can see I'm already carrying 3 resources. He's carrying 2. He's about to carry his 3rd, but you'll notice the machine gun actually moves faster than the other bots while carrying resources. It turns out what's heavy for another bot is still pretty light for the machine gun. But I'm up 3-2. I'm carrying 2 more, so unless he disrupts one of these, that's game. That'll give me the 5 kills I need. He does have some bots on the way though, so this is the one to watch right here. And made it. So that's game. Good game, Hugh. And here we have Hugh and myself in domination. Unfortunately, Hugh does not have an AI, so I'm going to fast forward through it. Much like before, my bots capped all the points, and now they're just spawn camping him. No mercy. And there's the match. And last up we have elimination. This one is actually Hugh's strongest matchup. Elimination, you can tell by the rating, is the one he plays the most of. And with the 4-4 cross split, historically I've had a lot of problems dealing with that, but we'll see how it plays out. You can see my both sides are kind of collapsing on a singular side, which is going to present some problems, but fortunately the side they're collapsing on for me has 2 machine guns in it, whereas the side for him has 1 machine gun and 2 snipers. That's going to give me a lot more staying power, and I'm hoping that plays out well. You can see the other side of my split is trying to push the enemy toward the wall. Bots in general will try to retreat if they take too much damage, and when they do that, they give up space in return for some safety. And eventually they run out of space, you get them up against the wall, and that's when you really start dealing damage. But you can see here, both of our sides are kind of on even terms. I think his side actually started off closer to the center, so I think I've pushed him slightly more than he's pushed me. But you can see his shotgun did manage to pick up a health and heal itself, but his other shotgun is at half, which I think is a good thing for me. Shotguns, if you don't address them, they can destroy bots very, very quickly, but it's kind of a balancing act because they can also serve as bait. I mean, look how long this machine gun is shooting this shotgun and causing no appreciable damage. You know, it's basically just wasting the machine gun's time. But at the same time, you can't ignore the shotguns or they tend to destroy bots very, very quickly. And he's moving in with the flank here. That's providing 6 bots of pressure on my top. But my bottom section of bots is trying to relieve that pressure by moving in and attacking his snipers. Snipers are very, very good at long-range combat. Ooh, first kill. Got one of his assaults. That gives me a numerical advantage. It's not necessarily game over. He still can capitalize on any weakness, but looking at the overall health of my bots are all still very healthy, which means him losing that assault is actually a very big win for me so far. And that puts his smaller cluster at 3 bots instead of 4 because that assault was from the smaller cluster, and that's going to let me try to bully these guys much more effectively. As I was saying before though, snipers are specialized at long-range combat, and so they really want to be left alone to sit back at distance and shoot. One of the things my bots are trying to do is not let that happen, because if you just let the sniper sit back and shoot, the sniper does way too much damage to justify that decision. But my machine guns are holding up. You can see this machine gun is a little low on health. He did manage to back up the retreat. He's got his shields back. And I got him pinned up against the wall so he has nowhere to run, and that takes care of both of his snipers. At this point, I think it's pretty much game over. I don't know if he can recover. He's down 3 bots, he's lost both of his snipers, and he's about to lose one of his machine guns. So that's 4-0, that's going to give me massive numbers advantage, and I'm going to be able to just bully his bots across the field. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get any more kills though, because if we look over this way, there's a long distance to cover before he runs out of room to retreat. He did manage to take this force field. This is a very secure force field capture too, for the most part, and so he willingly retreated from it. Force fields, I think, it's something like 75% reduced damage for the bot in force field. So 1 MG in a force field can take the better part of an entire team by himself. It's actually pretty nasty. But you can see his bots are slowly gaining ground. The shotguns are useless as combatants at this range. You can see here the range circles. They need to get within medium range to shoot anything at all. And so at long range, the only thing his bots are really good at is providing distractions, which my bots do sometimes fall for, because, like I said, you don't want to ignore the shotguns. You need to provide pressure on the shotguns, or the shotguns are just going to take apart your whole team. But you also don't want to overcommit, because any time spent shooting a shotgun, you see how fast they move, they wiggle, they regenerate their shields, and then they come back in. So you don't want to get too caught up focusing on the shotguns, and it's a difficult balancing act. But so far, so good. You can see him steadily pushing his team back. I've almost got him across the field, but we have 10 seconds on the clock, and it being up 4-0, I think it's pretty safe to say that I've got this round in the bag. And there it is. Good match, you.